Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here and honored to be here. I am part of this amazing group and I found this group probably like many of you. Somebody either added me or I saw a Facebook ad, I have no idea, but I joined, and so I'm so glad that I did, and I have this opportunity to come to you and to help you in something that I've helped a lot of people do, and I love it. So anyway, just a little bit about me. My name's Margaret Brown, and I am the CEO and founder of SocializeLA.com. Today I'm actually in my home office, so that's what you're seeing now. I've been in business for 10 years. I have a agency, and I also have a learning membership community where I help people who are doing their own social media and I guide them. But anyway, just wanted to give you a little bit of a background. And today we are talking about flexing your influence, okay? Flexing your influence. My brand is all about taking your knowledge and your expertise and making sure that the world knows about it, right? Because we don't want to be the best kept secret. So I am constantly telling my peers, my clients, my students that we have to hashtag flex our influence, hashtag flex your influence. So today we are talking about pausing, setting, and flexing. So I want to get right into it because we have 30 minutes and we all know that 30 minutes kind of flies by. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to pause. We are very busy people. We are mothers, we are sisters, we are children, daughters, we are business owners, we are community leaders, we are friends, we are cousins, we are aunts, we are so many things. And in addition to everything that we want to accomplish in life, we are also running a business. And so the first thing we need to do is just pause, because I know I'm not alone in the fact that sometimes we get overwhelmed with all the options, and everyone says, well, you need to have a funnel, you need to have a webinar, you need to have a podcast, you need to do video, you need to do all these things. And all of these channels are amazing to build your brand and amazing for visibility. However, it's not always realistic. Now, if you have a team of people that can help you to do all these things, then amazing. That's great. You can start delegating. But if it's just you, or if you're the main marketing and business development person in your company, it's very difficult to get these things done. I know from my experience, okay, my team, again, I've been in business for 10 years and I have a team of 10. So I have so many people with their hands on my company, and that's amazing, but it wasn't always like that. And to be honest with you, I still bear the brunt of a lot of the marketing because I love it. This is my company, this is my baby. And so even for me, I have had to pause. I find times where I pause, there's times where I'm grinding, and then there's times where I'm pausing. And so during the pause, what you're doing is you're not focusing on all the things that need to be done. You need to focus on what you can do, how much time you do have, what your resources look like, and what you can possibly outsource or what you can possibly delegate. And that's what you need to do. I have purchased so many trainings. Every training you can get your hands on, I've purchased it because I continually want to grow. But what I would find is that I would buy trainings and then I would never do them. Yep, that was me. So I don't know if I'm alone on that, but buying them and then not doing them because you're so busy doing the stuff that it's like I don't take time to pause and learn. But anyway, so many times we hear experts and they're wonderful and they give us amazing ideas, and I'm not knocking that at all. But we cannot get stuck in the overwhelm, because once we get overwhelmed, if you're like me, then you just don't do anything. That's just the way it is. We don't do anything when we're overwhelmed. So what I want us to do is during this pausing time, this is where I start with all of my clients and all of my students. And my question is, what do you want for your business? What is the goal of your business? Is it to sell X amount of products? Is it to have X amount of clients? Is it about having X amount of dollars coming in every month? From there, you work backwards, and you have to figure out what makes sense within your time and your resources. Because some of the best advice is just not in your grasp right now. If someone says, oh, well, you could really reach those goals with a $10,000 a month Facebook ad budget. I'm sure I could. But if you don't have the $10,000 a month to invest in Facebook ads right now, that's not going to be an option. So I was just speaking to a student in our membership, and she said, well, I want to do A, B, and C. And I said, yes. I said, the first thing you need to do is connect with 50 micro-influencers. She's like, micro-influencer, what's that? So we know what a micro-influencer, is, right? It is someone who has a pretty decent following on social media. Not only that, they have followers, but they also have engagement. Engagement is important. They're an influencer. And connecting with 50 people is going to be her best move to make a big impact, because she has an amazing book, and I know that the people in her industry are going to love it, because I'm actually one of her demographics and I love it. But anyway, that is going to be the best way for her to do that. So then we said, let's do 50, and I said, do 10 per week, because she's doing a million other things. So she's not going to do that all in one day. So we break it down. So think about what you want to accomplish in your business, and then work backwards. And as you're working backwards, you be really realistic with yourself, and don't come down on yourself. Don't feel like, oh my gosh, I can't do much. I'm just not able, or I don't have the skills. If you don't have the skills, then you're going to have to learn, and that's okay too. Learning is fun. But pause and just think about it. And then you can kind of like release any guilt that you don't have a funnel yet, or release any guilt that you haven't hired your first person yet, or you haven't hit 250,000 in sales yet, because that will come. Remember that building a business takes time. It's an investment. And if you're like me, this isn't the only thing that you're doing. When I started my business 10 years ago, I was still figuring life out for myself. I was still in my 20s, like, trying to figure it all out. And this does not come easy. And if it has come easy, then I'm really happy for you. But for a lot of us, building a business, building an empire has not been easy. And it takes work. And it takes community. And that's why you have this community, which is awesome. I'm so glad that it exists for us. But that's the pause aspect of the pause, set, flex. So now I want us to think about, okay, I'm letting go of, and this might take you more time, so I'm not thinking that in 5 minutes you know exactly what you need to do. You might need to pause for a minute. I'm very big on environment. So my office is like, my home office is a safe place for me. It's my creative space. I've created it and curated everything that you see. I recommend the same for you. Create environments around you that inspire you to think bigger, to get out of your comfort zone, to smash fear and doubt. And that's where you need to reflect and pause, okay? And think about that next thing. Now, once you're ready to move on, we need to set up the plan. You have to have a plan. It's not enough to say, okay, I'm going to post on social media this many times. I'm going to engage on this hashtag. All of that is great. But you need to set a plan that's going to be, okay, here's my consistent publishing, my content. Here is my engagement plan. I'm going to engage with my people. And here is also my my grade, like how I'm going to measure success. What does success look like? So you're going to measure success based on that goal that you had already chose. My goal is to sell 10 widgets per day. Well, then I need to make sure that I am setting my digital marketing up for that type of success and not just posting and praying that it's going to happen. I talk about posting with purpose. So that purpose is always attached to a goal. So right now on SocializeLA's social media, we are working on our summer reboot. And so that's happening next week. And so every post that we're doing is geared towards a summer reboot. And that's how we're posting with purpose. So that's going to change as soon as the summer reboot's over, and we'll go back to our regular calls to action. But every post should have a call to action. Not every post should sell you. Remember, 80% of your content needs to be engaging, inspiring, educational, value add, and 20% needs to sell your product, sell your services. Because remember, social is social. It's relational. People want to build relationships with you. They don't want to be sold by you every time you come up on their feed, right? So, and again, sometimes social media is a very passive way to sell. That's why you have to, in your plan, you have to set goals that include more sales activities. So here's an example. I always say the baseline of what you should have in your digital marketing, baseline, okay, is at least one monthly email going to your database, at least one blog post, and at least 3 to 5 social media posts per week. Baseline, okay? Do not quote me and say that's all you need. That's not what I'm saying. That is the baseline. And from there, you can build on that, but get that all set up. So with your email database can be like your number one call to action, because we all know that we need to build out our database. Our social media numbers are awesome, but until you own someone's email and they've asked to receive your information, social media is just not what we can rely on. As you know, in the past 6 months, Instagram has gone down more than a handful of times. No Instagram. So you can't put your eggs all in one basket. So you need to make sure that your email database is a process continually building. I don't care if your email database has 5 people on it, being, 3 of them being your family members. Publish it every month. Tell everybody what you're up to. Inspire people. It doesn't have to be a long email. It can be a cool, beautiful quote. I hope everybody's using Canva or something similar. You can make something beautiful and inspiring and without a lot of effort. And, and then maybe a call to action right underneath the beautiful post. I'm just trying to tell you that there are ways to publish these things without putting so much content together. Because again, we get paralyzed with all the things that we need to do. So pause, set. We are setting ourselves up for success. In that success is making sure that you have all your channels lined up and that everything you're posting is with your goal in mind. Okay? Now, let's talk about flexing. So if we've paused and we've thought about this is our number one goal right now, between now and the end of the year, 6 months. This is a great time to reset. We've decided what we're going to do. Now, the second piece to that is setting it up. Okay, I'm committing to this is me, okay? 1 podcast a week. Yes, I do have 1 podcast a week. And going live once a week. And then my team does the rest. So I have social media going. I have all of those things going. And then 3 e-blasts per month on different subjects. One of them is pretty long where it has all our upcoming events, maybe like some links. It's a longer one, but the other two are more short, sweet, and inspirational. So that's what I have to do every month, okay? I'm committing to that. So I'm setting. Now I have to say, what does success look like, right? In that piece. So success for me, for the podcast, is I love when people are posting it in their stories and tagging me and saying, I love your podcast, or when they're, emailing me. But you might think, well, how is that helping with your business? How is that helping with your sales? Well, it's a great place to be, because they're listening, they're liking, they're learning. And then for this last piece of pause, set, flex, I am flexing my influence because people are learning from me. It's raising my influence. So as you're putting out your content into the world, you might not see these big results right away, but you can't stop. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep investing into the bank of online, because that's how people search for you. That's how people vet you. So let's say, I've talked to a lot of people and they've said, oh, well, I get all my business through referrals. Well, that's awesome. Referrals are wonderful because people are, referring you. It's great. But you and I know that when you are referred by someone, there is a time where they go and they review you. They are making sure that you are the expert in your field, right? So you have to give them content. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't have content that someone's not going to hire you. That's not true. However, when you have content out there, you're shortening the sales cycle. You're making it easier for them to do business with you. You're making it so that they see you, they view you as a credible person, and they like you. That's visibility, credibility, and likability. That is the key to online marketing. So flex. You want to flex your influence. You put your content out there. If you have 100,000 people liking it, awesome. If you have 5 people liking it, awesome. That's your baseline, and you grow from there. So the moral of this story, the moral of this podcast, not podcast, I have podcasts on the mind. The moral of this Facebook Live is that you define what you're going to work on right now. Rather than working on all the things, you work on what you can focus on, what's within your restraints, your budget restraints, your time restraints, and you get that going. My podcast was like a 2 to 3 year project for me, because for the first 2 years, it was just a dream, and it's just something that I wanted to do. Finally, I said it to so many people that finally the right person said, why don't you just do it? And she is a friend who I did a leadership program with at USC here in Southern California. And so she's a very driven, motivated person. And so in her lovely way, she just said, why don't you just do it? And so, but it was a big overhaul for me, right? So in January, I said, okay, I'm going to get it up by February. It was up in May. So it took a little bit longer from that last time that I said I'm going to do it, but I did it right. And I ended up doing a big launch party online, and that was like the launch party was out of my comfort zone. And have you ever needed to do something out of your comfort zone, like a launch? Launching can be extremely nerve-wracking because you are really putting yourself out there. And I did the launch, and I did a full day of Facebook Lives. I went live 6 times throughout like an 8-hour period. So it was pretty much, it covered the whole day. I took some breaks to work out, to eat lunch, and to just put my life back together because it was very draining. But friends, I'm so glad that I did. Because of that launch, I did get a lot of people that wouldn't have really known that it existed. I ended up launching it from my personal channels, and I said friends and family, because a lot of my business colleagues are also connected on my personal, as we all know. And a lot of people saw it, they subscribed, and I made new and noteworthy on Apple several times. And that was really cool for me because I was getting feedback like, oh, that never happens and there's no rhyme or reason. I said, okay, well, it's not my end all be all, but it is a pretty good goal if that happens. And it happened. So, it just gave me like so much joy to see that something that I had worked so hard for, something that was totally out of my comfort zone and I wasn't sure, are people going to like it? It happened and it was great and it's been great. So that was like the first part of this year. So now the second part of the year, I have my next goal and I'm being reasonable with myself, guys. I have been sorry, my eye itches. I have been someone in the past who's been very hard on myself. I've been someone in the past who didn't celebrate wins. I would just accomplish one thing and then quickly move on to the next goal. Never really acknowledging. I remember the first time many years ago that I hit my 6-figure mark. I hit 100,000 and I never celebrated it. I never told anybody. And do you know why? Because I thought all these women around me are surpassed that. If I tell them I just hit 100,000, I'm going to be some type of a joke. So years later, probably 2 years later, I was in a program and I was listening to a woman and she said to me, she said to the group, hitting 100,000 in your business is a huge milestone. And if you can hit 100,000, you can hit 1 million. And I thought, oh my gosh. And the things that she said, like some statistics about how many people actually hit 100,000. So what a feat. And from that moment on, I said, I'm going to start celebrating my wins. I'm going to start they're my wins. They might not be somebody else's wins. That might be small potatoes to someone. One of my colleagues who I had no idea, she's so down to earth. She is she's like at $2 million. And I was just I couldn't believe it. Not that I didn't believe in her, but just the way she carries herself and her business, and there's things that she still struggles with that I don't struggle with. And I was just like, wow, I know I have it in me to really take this thing to the next level. But anyway, again, I just wanted to share that because I don't want anybody else in this group to feel the way I did. And so I want you to celebrate that. Celebrate your 25 mark. Celebrate your 50,000 mark. Celebrate the 100,000. And the next feat is 250. So 100 to 250. 250 is like the next big milestone. And I'm happy to say that I've hit that. And now the next one is 500. Oh my gosh, that seems like ridiculous. Just remembering where I started. But anyway, we are pause setting and we're flexing. Don't be the best kept secret. People need to hear what you have to say. And you might say, yeah, but there's other industry leaders and they've said things before. Yeah, but your audience wants to hear it from you. You don't think that people have talked about digital marketing? I am in a very saturated field, and it doesn't matter to me because I know that, people want to learn from who they resonate with. So some people will resonate with me, some people will resonate with someone else, and that's awesome. I collaborate with people who are in my same industry, and to me it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. There's enough business in this world for all of us to succeed. And you have to believe that. I believe that. So I want to thank you so much for listening, for being here. And I also want to invite you to join the summer reboot that's happening Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. I will place the link in the comments. It's free to register. We're going to have a lot of fun. We are going to dive deeper into pause, set, flex. And I have a workbook for us to work in. And at the end of it, you're going to get a lot of clarity and you'll really know your next steps to make the biggest impact. And hopefully even out of this, you've honed in on what you need to do next. And now you can just start chipping away at that. And I really hope that that's the case. If you want a little more, please join us for the SocializeLA summer reboot. So thank you again. My name's Margaret Brown, and it's a joy and a pleasure to be part of this organization. Thank you.